Hi, it's Jenny with Jenny's Wreath Boutique, and in this video, I'm going to share with you a brand new fall wreath tutorial, very high end, and this wreath tutorial has a kit to go along with it while supplies last, so if you want a kit for this wreath, I'll have it linked in the description below. These are the florals we're going to use. It's very natural looking with a little bit of bling, so I'll show you everything I'm using. I'm also using a 14-inch grapevine wreath base for this. If you want to order a kit, you have the option of getting it with florals only or adding a 14-inch grapevine to it. And if you want to make a larger wreath, maybe on the 18-inch grapevine, I would recommend getting 2 kits with the florals only and then getting a larger grapevine. First of all, we're using these bronze ferns or cedar. It's so pretty. I believe it's a cedar, but look at that bling and gold. So pretty, right? I love this as a base. It's just going to give our wreath a little bit of an elevated look. It's neutral, but elevated. The main inspiration for this wreath is actually from these. Aren't they gorgeous? They've got such fun texture, some pine cones and these little pods. We've got 2 of those. We've also got these 2 grasses in the beige to really help fill it out. We've also got this fun, beautiful beige leaf. Such a fun one. Very high quality. Some beige berries. Aren't they cute? The cream. These are so realistic looking. I absolutely love them. Then we have some eucalyptus for a little bit of a broader leaf. Add some interest. Just a little pop of it. And it's got the little seeds on them, which I love. And then I've got these pod sprays. I love these pods. Look at them. They're so good. I recently used these also in a tutorial inside of my VIP group that I just absolutely love. So I wanted to put them in a wreath here as well. So that's what we're using. And I also have my favorite hot glue and hot glue gun, my favorite wire cutters. All my tools are also linked in the description below. I also wanted to mention, if you're ever wondering where I get all my florals from, I have a free cheat sheet for you. It lists out my favorite retail places and wholesale vendors in this free cheat sheet for you. So you can grab that. It's also linked in the description. First, we're going to start with our bronze fern. Look at that. So shimmery. So we're just going to kind of pull the leaves out. You get a good amount of leaves from one stem. We're just pulling them apart so we have single leaves. And I'm going to cut the stems just a little bit so that skinny part is not so long. And yes, I have cleaned up my grapevine already. Oops. So all we're going to do is we're going to place these along the grain of the grapevine. You glue each stem. Each stem is glued. So we're going to have some on the inside and on the outside. Each of these florals we're going to layer in one at a time. And I like to use the bottom layer for my flat greenery. And since these are very flat, they go in first. And they provide such a beautiful backdrop for the rest of our stuff. Now we're going to get into our gold cedar. I love it. So pretty. This one has a little bit of a metal thing around the middle to hold the stems together. So you can either chop above that or try and cut into the metal. And I'm cutting into the metal because my wire cutters are really good. I just have to get a good grip. And this one's a little different than the bronze. It has some skinnier stems and some shorter stems and some regular size. So it's a nice little mixture, and that is why I'm adding those next. If you don't want to cut the metal, that's totally fine. You can just cut right above that stem, not a big deal. Since we have different sizes of the gold, I want to make sure they're spread out evenly. So I'm just going to separate them into little piles. So I'll put our wider stems in first, just around the wreath, in between the bronze. And I'm having these face mostly outside. And this one has a shorter stem because I cut it off above the wire, and that's okay. It can just still go right into the grapevine nicely. And now we just have these 3 pieces, and we'll just stick those evenly around the wreath. I like the different texture that those bring. I love this mixed metals look that the bronze and the gold has. Oh, isn't that pretty? I love it. Now we're going to add in our cream colored grasses. This wreath has a lot of texture going on. Very high end, very interesting. I love it. I'm just going to be lifting up the bronze ferns a little bit, placing these under so that they're nice and mixed in with it. And once again, these go on the inside and the outside. I love the contrast of the cream against the bronze and the gold. It's so pretty. This will look, once again, so pretty all on its own with just these 3. So cute. Very boho. Now we're going to add in lots more texture with these. I feel like this adds a little bit of rustic with the pine cones. So pretty. Aren't those fun, the little pods? I'm just sorting these things. Now, normally I like to have an odd number of extra pieces, like 3 or 5 things that look different. But for these, I have 4 pine cones, 2 of each kind, 4 of this dark brown piece, and then 4 of these. So when something like that happens and you want your eye to go all the way around and not look in a square, that's why I added another brown piece that will really catch your eye on the brown, and there's enough that it will look nice and round, even though we don't have an odd number of things. So, little tip for you. And since we have the lighter beige, our grasses, since we only have 4 clusters of them, that's totally fine. Our eye's still going to go all the way around the wreath. You could take them apart and make it into 8, then it would really go around the wreath, but I don't necessarily think you need to do that, but it's up to you. You certainly can. But I'm just gonna have 4 of these around the wreath. It's looking so good. And I put the thicker ones across from each other. There. See how it blends in pretty well? Even though there's only 4 of the white pieces, you can't really tell by looking at it. This is such a pretty wreath. But we are going to be able to tell that there's 4 of these, but that's okay. They are also going to blend in a little bit with our bronze leaves, so that's good. So I'm just going to add 1 of these in between every one of the white, since we had 4 white. If the stems come apart, just wrap them around the center stem. That way it's easier to stick into the grapevine. Yeah, these blend in really well with the bronze. So pretty. All right, and we're gonna hold off on adding these until the end. So now we're gonna add in our cream and our eucalyptus to break up some of the grasses, but not a lot, just a little bit. Just little touches here and there. So we have 5 stems of this just to add a little bit more interest. This is one of my new favorite cream stems I got this year. I love them and I want to put them with everything. I wish I would have ordered twice as much, if not more. See, our grapevine is already covered with all our greenery, florals, foliage. So now we're just adding in special touches to make it look extra pretty and special. That's so cute. Now we're going to cut up our eucalyptus. We're going to try and have at least 5 pieces. So I'm just cutting them so we have a little bit for each stem. I'm going to cut this one again. Because we don't have a lot, we really want to make sure it extends all the way around. Perfect. Look at that. So now we've got all of our foliage in. Foliage. Do you guys say foliage or foliage? I say foliage, but lately I've been catching myself saying foliage and I don't know why. Which one do you say? Oh, this is so pretty all on its own. Now we're going to add in our pods, and they come in little pieces of 2, which is nice. So you just take them off the stem. And these are really going to take your wreath over the top. So special and unique. Just going to add the pods around. After you add these, you don't even need anything else, really. I think it's pretty with just these. I like that you can move them around to make the heads kind of blend in. Oh my gosh, I love this. This is so cute. This really, oh, it really just elevates the whole thing. Those are so pretty. I love them. That is gorgeous. Look at that. So pretty. Now, really, you don't need these, but they are fun. But so I don't just have one on each side. I am going to cut these so that we'll at least have 4. Let's see how these really help blend those in. So I'm just going to cut right here. So this kind of gives it a little bit of a stem. That way we can at least spread them out a little bit more. You don't have to add them, but I think they're so cute. So we're just going to add these around just in 4 places. I mean, we have them, we might as well use them. There, that's cute. Now we can add our pine cones. You don't need to add these either if you prefer not to, but we have them, and I think they add a fun rustic touch, kind of different. And I like that warm brown color. All right, so good. We have to add our cream berries. I love these, just another fun textural element to make this wreath just look so high end. They're not a lot, and each pick makes 5 little picks, so it works out perfectly for this wreath. And since most of our texture is brown, I thought it would be fun to add in a little cream texture. And I am such a sucker for berries. I love them. You might have recognized a lot of these elements from my fall floral unboxing that I did recently. So this is those things being put to good use. So I'm just gonna put these in around the wreath evenly. Aren't those fun? They just add such a nice little extra touch. This is so beautiful. I love it. How gorgeous is that? I love it so much. I love it. Let me know what you think, and don't forget, if you want to grab a kit for this wreath, it will be linked in the description of this video until supplies last. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.